So after growing up in the 80s and 90s, I thought you'll never see another big time kingpin, drug kingpin in this country. Too much technology with the cell phones, with the cameras. When I say cameras, I mean like the camera, the building, the cameras on the buildings. Hell, the cameras on your cell phone, the cameras on the buildings, the cameras in the sky, technology, the way they record your hell, even the cell phones now. If you say something and then you go to a social media page, you'll see ads talking about the things, or you might even see stories talking about the topic that you have discussed. Hell, it's even believed that if you think something, and I feel I think that I've been through that, to where when you think something, that the phone somehow will sense it and a story will pop up. Seen it happen. I mean, you can believe me if you don't. I don't know. Okay. But anyway, like I say, I thought all the doggone me drug kingpins were gone. But this story here makes me think different. Like maybe there's still hope for those who wants to destroy our community on a high scale. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And when you do subscribe, hit the notification bell so every time I drop a video, you will be the first to know about it. Let's hit it.
This is video you'll see only on Fox 5. The FBI in the...
What's the first thing that stands out to you when you see this picture? First thing. Got 3 seconds and I'm starting back. 1, 3. All right.
Atlanta area making a major drug bust. Federal agents say they stopped millions of dollars of hard drugs from hitting the streets. The feds making that announcement just a few hours ago. Fox 5's Tyler Fingert is live at the FBI Atlanta headquarters with the story in DeKalb County. And
I believe I'm going to start watching the news more often. Not for the news stories per se, because we can get those anywhere. But I guess me getting to my older age and to my uncle age, and hell, might well call me grandpa age, it's just comforting seeing a woman dressed like a woman who wants to look ladylike and in her femininity. Now, I don't know how she is when she's away from the news station or how she dresses. Now, I mean, I don't know about the fashion sense. Hey, I'm not a fashion connoisseur, so don't kill me on that. But I'm just mean she's not like all out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, hair is decent, makeup is decent, simple chain. Looks like she might be married. I guess she got a ring on her finger. But I'm just saying, just like to see just normal people sometime instead of all this stuff that they put on social media. But I digress.
the exclusive video from a neighbor, Tyler.
Yeah, Christine, good afternoon to you. Federal agents say they found guns, drugs, and a lot of cold hard cash at 3 different locations in the Atlanta area earlier this month. They say it represents the largest fentanyl bust in state history. It was quite the early morning wake-up call in a South Fulton neighborhood.
Y'all see this neighborhood? This was the first thing that stood out to me when I saw this video. Look at this neighborhood and his houses. This is beautiful. And you got somebody who's who's stashing drugs in this house. It's not, I don't know. I'm used to, seeing a stash house being somewhere in the hood. Not necessarily a rundown house, but a little average little house in the hood where there's, police ain't gonna look at you, not gonna really be concerned about your neighborhood. But I guess it makes sense because, well, no, you wouldn't think any police would come out in this neighborhood either, I guess. You know what I'm saying? You would think this is wholesome family values. Everyone has college degrees, great jobs, making 6 figures plus, got a family, dog, uh, probably contractor on a company where they contract their work out, blue collar, got the kids in college. That's what I would think. So I wouldn't even think. Matter of fact, if I go down my neighborhood, I mean, the house ain't this big, but if I go down my neighborhood, I wouldn't think anyone in this neighborhood would have enough fentanyl to kill Georgia population 4 times. So maybe he thought he was on to something. Maybe he thought He outsmarted them folk. But
neighborhood as heavily armed FBI agents swarmed a home on Wolftail Court.
When you see this on TV, you never expect that it will happen in front of your house.
Candace Barnett lives next to the home that was raided around 6 a.m. last Thursday. Her family's surveillance cameras captured the shocking scene. What do you think looking at it again?
Oh, when I saw it originally and now I'm seeing it again, that's just something you can't unsee.
The feds wanted to search the home of Bartholomew Keaton Harrelson. They breached his door, and a few minutes after ordering him to come out, he did. The South Fulton home was one of 3 locations tied to Harrelson, a convicted felon. The other 2 raids took place in Douglas County and Atlanta.
how does a convicted felon get a house like that? How does a convicted felon get a house, period, in his name? I mean, I just want to know what the laws are, because this is Fulton County, so this is where what Fani and Willis is. Oh, I'm sure they're going to try to tie it back to her somehow, some way. But I just wonder. And then you see the picture with all these guns. How he get all these guns? Are they registered in his name or in somebody else's name, or are they all illegal? Because they illegal. Man, those are illegal firearms. And then that's all the fentanyl and drugs they got. Man, come on. I just want to know, how he get a dang on me. Let's see. Having been employed as a special agent FBI since 2020 and currently assigned to the FBI. Oh, that's the affidavit background. Never mind. That's what the FBI, based on my training. What is this? This is just some kind of. I said, hello. Occupants when came out, the agent saw Harrelson appear the second bedroom and determined that was his last name Harrelson? Let me see.
In a convicted felon.
Really can't read that, but no, so really can't read that. Bartholomew, what's his name? Keaton Harrelson. Okay, I have the Harrelson to talk about 400 grams. Okay, let's continue.
The other 2 raids took place in Douglas County and Atlanta.
Yeah, how he get a house in his name? That's what I want to know. Hey, not hard it was for me to get a house. Shoot, I'm a law-abiding citizen. Going to work, man, had to go through all kind of hoops and ladders.
Investigators say they found more than 550 pounds of illegal drugs.
This was a major drug trafficking operation. The FBI and DEA together seized approximately 750,000 pills. These pills contained either fentanyl, cocaine, or methamphetamine.
During the searches, officials say they also found pill presses to create counterfeit pills, about $150,000 cash, and a piece of unique jewelry.
Walter White. This man has a Walter White chain. You know, Breaking Bad. I wonder if he wore this out in public and maybe that drew attention to him. I mean, I just wonder.
Agents also found more than 24 guns, including a machine gun. They say
silencer.
Harrelson was prepared to protect his operation.
He didn't do too. He wasn't too prepared. And that's another thing. He got all these guns. He's prepared to protect his operation from who? Because when the feds came, I ain't seen him shooting at nobody. He walked out with a tank top on. He didn't use not now one of these guns to protect his operation, did it? Shoot. Like I said, a lot of guys, you know what I'm saying? We could talk a good game and how hard we are and what we're gonna do. This, that, and the third. But when real life hit, and with him, them feds came knocking at his door, man, they have a gun in his hand. He came walking out and backwards like they said. But by himself, which is kind of odd, that he was the only one in that house. When you got that, I wonder if there's a tunnel under his house. But anyway, when you got that much narcotics and guns and money, how is it that there's only one person in that house? Because again, if you go to any trap house in the hood and they kick the door in, it's going to be more than one person, most likely, in that house. Well, not really. No, that's a lie. That's a lie. Nah, that's a lie. But still, with trap house ain't. But if it's holding like this, man, you got to have more than one person there. Got to. Lookouts. There was no lookout down the street. There was nothing. How can you house this much stuff and don't have a backup plan? for when somebody tries to come and kick your door in. It stopped not making sense to me.
He faces 3 federal charges, including possession with intent.
With them Lucky Charms? They look like goddamn doggone Lucky Charms. People, stop eating cereal. Stop feeding your kids cereal. I mean, it's already bad enough. We know it's poison. We know it's sugar that's doing nothing but hurting our kids, hurting us. It hurt us growing up, and now it's hurting our children. Just get them off of that, because now we don't even know if they eat Lucky Charms. Now you can probably, somebody gonna see this, some kid gonna see this, and know what they're gonna do? They're gonna buy a box of Lucky Charms, gonna take out all the little corn shapes, or take out all the marshmallows and put them in the bag and eat them at school, and acting like they, selling fentanyl. Like, seriously.
To distribute controlled substances.
It is alarming to go into a residence or in the garage or wherever that particular area and find this amount of drugs, especially fentanyl.
They found multiple types of drugs in pill and powder form. Specifically, investigators say they found over 56 kilos of fentanyl. Agents say it found enough to kill everyone in Georgia at least 4 times.
This type
56 kilo was 56, 2.2. So that's at least 10, 12, 120, 150 pounds.
Type of this quantity of drugs doesn't get manufactured here in the United States, right? So in that fashion, yes, he was being supplied by the cartels.
Yeah, he had a connection.
And agents say they found over $9 million worth of drugs. They say that Harrelson faces at least 40 years in prison if he's convicted, and up to life in prison. There was also one other interesting find during their searches. Agents found a book, and I want to read that title to you right now. They say it was called How to Avoid Federal Drug Conspiracy and Firearms Charges. Interesting read there, probably. We're live into...
Why would you have that book on you? You had to go and buy it somewhere. A book like that will do nothing but bring attention to you. So let's say he went to a bookstore, found a book, because you had to look it up. In order for you to even know that book exists, or maybe he wrote it himself, but in order for you to even know that book exists, you had to have looked it up. So you look up something like that, I'm sure it's going to bring attention to you. Somebody looked it up and it brought attention to you. Then you got to go and buy this book. You go and buy a book on how to avoid federal charges and drug convictions or whatever. What the hell? You go and buy this book. Let's say you try to do the smart thing and buy it cash. It don't matter. Once, because again, they got cameras everywhere, right? Everywhere. So, but they're not going to tell you that they're using them all the time. Just like with the New Orleans escapees. They just came out with a video saying how they use face recognition on the cameras in New Orleans to catch like a few of them guys. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people do like it. It's not perfect. Some people done got caught up with it, and they weren't even the person that the government, the police was looking for. But my point is, you got cameras everywhere watching everything you do. So you go anywhere, buy this book. It raises a red flag. I'm not even going to look that up right now, because I'm not doing anything illegal, but hell, I don't even want to look that book up. But if you purchase it anywhere, flag goes up, cameras go back and say, who bought this? Let's see who bought it. They'll check the cameras, do the facial recognition, pull up your information, especially if you are a convicted felon. Your face going to ring out so quickly. And now you putting eyes on you. And again, somehow you went to, I don't know who, and got 3 properties in your name as a convicted felon, which is crazy, because I know people who've been working forever, or even who's self-employed and have to wait a couple of years before they can even attempt to buy a house, because their employment or the money they make don't count. You know what I'm saying? For some reason. I don't know. But this is interesting, man. But it also shows you that these drugs are not going nowhere. This stuff is still coming in the country. Like they said, you got $9 million worth of dope in a house in the suburbs with one guy watching. You would think the cartel would have had more surveillance, made sure there was security. $9 million. You would think that whoever got this stuff would make sure that there is security around this neighborhood somewhere, maybe living in the house down the street, somebody with cameras watching the house, watching the whole block. How do you get busted with that much dope in the house? But the bottom line is, I'm glad it's off the street. I'm glad it did happen. He's gonna be in jail, probably where he belongs, because he undoubtedly he didn't learn his lesson the first time he was made a felon. Matter of fact, I looked something up earlier, and I asked, who is Bartholomew Keaton Harrelson? And they say he's a 47-year-old individual from Atlanta, Georgia. So he's like a year or less younger than me, who has recently been indicted on multiple federal drug and weapons charges. According to authorities, he was involved in one of the largest pill pressing operations uncovered in Georgia. A federal search warrant executed in his Southwest Atlanta home on June 5th uncovered over 56 kilograms of fentanyl, 84 kilograms of meth, nearly 10 kilograms of heroin, 4 kilograms of cocaine, 28 firearms, including a machine gun, $145,000 in cash, and a book titled How to Avoid Federal Drug Conspiracy and Firearm Charges. He was arrested at the scene. He is facing charges of possession with intent to distribute fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, and marijuana, possession of a firearm in the furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. That's RICO. And possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. Man, you had where is it at? 28 firearms by a convicted felon. He convicted of all charges. He could face a sentence of 40 years to life with no chance of parole. The case is part of an initiative called Operation Take Back America. So shout out to Donald Trump. Shout out to Donald Trump going into Fani Willis's neighborhood and taking down these drug kingpins. Amazing. Well, like I said, I'm glad stuff is off the street. Let's say brother is probably going to be in prison where he belongs because of this. And hey, I don't feel sorry for him, but I do feel bad for him because the people that supplying him this stuff, especially $9 million worth of dope, they not going to take this land down. Heads are going to have to roll somehow. But anyway, tell me what you think about this story. Leave your comments below. Share it with the world. Let's have an intelligent conversation. You know how we do around here. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Those 4 things cost you nothing but maybe a couple of minutes out your day, but it means the world to us here at this channel. If you'd like to support us financially, you can always get a super thanks, super chat, super stickers. And you can go to the description box. There are a couple of links there you can click on to where you can help support us that way. Now, if you would like something tangible for your dollars, which a lot of people do, you can go to marlonmorale.com, or you can hit that shop button below and check out all of our luxury items. We got fragrances that last all day. We got silk products, beard products, handbags, and more. Check it out. You will not be disappointed. With that being said, I'll leave you in peace, and I'll see you on the other side.